section, and it's just interpreting and being able to visualize. What does a plane look like? A ray, a segment, a point. What is it asking us? So we look at this first one, and it says sketch a plane and a ray that is in the plane. Sketch a plane and a ray that is in the plane. Got it. Sketch a plane. Always a parallelogram. Never a flat, straight rectangle. Make sure the ray is in the plane, so the ray has an end point, an initial point, and an arrowhead on it. Or making sure that you draw a ray, not a segment, not a line. And that's it. You don't want your ray to come out of the plane. Your ray, it says that is in the plane, so make sure it's in the plane. Next one. Again, take the time to write down the instructions. Don't just have this picture in your notes, because then you're not going to know what the picture represents. Pause it, write this down. Sketch a plane and a segment that intersects the plane at a point. That's interesting. Let's start with sketch a plane. We can do that. Sketch a plane. And a segment that intersects the plane at a point. Raise your hand out there if you shoot bow and arrow. Okay, I can't see your hands, but I bet you some of you raised your hand, which is funny. Okay, think of it, this plane, as your target. Whether you have a 3D deer out there or just a bullseye, hay bale, whatever it is, there's your target. When you shoot your arrow and it goes into the target, your arrow is that segment. Okay, and the target, if you pull your arrow back out, it leaves a point in your target. Even though it was a segment that flew through it, when you pull it back out, there's a point. It intersects the plane at a point. So we want to show that this segment is only going to go right through that point. And I'm going to draw this a little bit differently than you would expect a bow and an arrow if you were shooting horizontally. I'm going to do it more so that this is a piece of paper laying flat, and you're going to put a segment through there. So I need an end point on my segment. It's going to hit your plane, and then it's going to disappear underneath there and come out again through the bottom. So you have a piece of paper, you stick something through it. Oh, look at my mistake I made here at the bottom. I made an arrow because I was talking about bows and arrows. I want a segment. So when it comes out the bottom, it has to be a segment at the bottom. That's how you show it. The dotted line shows it disappears. That comes back out. What does that not look like? You can't draw a plane and then stick a segment in it and say that there is a point where it intersects. That doesn't work. That's in the plane completely. That's drawing something on the piece of paper. That's a picture on a target. You need it to go through, disappear, and come back out. Last one, then we get to wrap this up. Sketch a plane and a line that does not intersect the plane. Okay, we'll start with the plane again. Sketch a plane. If you want to, pause the video here and see if you can come up with the diagram by yourself, and then start it back up and see if they end up the same. Sketch a plane and a line that does not intersect the plane. So I'm going to draw that line here. Not too difficult. It obviously can't be in the plane. It can be over the plane. It can be under the plane. It cannot be in the plane. It also can't intersect the plane. But here's what you also have to be careful of. You also can't draw it like this. Because what did we say about planes and lines? A line extends without end in two directions. A plane extends without end in all directions. So if you drew your line like this, and this plane actually goes on infinitely in all directions, and this line goes infinitely, it's going to run into that. So you can't put it at an angle. you're going to have to keep your line parallel to your plane so that it's never touching it. No matter how far it goes, it'll never run into that plane. And remember, that plane is floating right here. All right, that's the end of chapter 1. Holy cow, not all of chapter 1, section 1.1. Again, a lot of time on this one, and I totally get it. But go to your Google Classroom, check out your assignment, and go back and make flashcards if you're going to need it to memorize all this vocab. Thanks for your time.